Welcome to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, bringing baby boomers proven strategies and innovative products for getting fit, staying fit, so you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Here's your host, best-selling author and fitness advocate, Phil Ferris.
This is Phil Ferris, and welcome to our show. Never Too Late for Fitness Radio provides answers and straight talk about fitness, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles for people over 50. During each show, we talk to real health and fitness experts, solving real problems with proven solutions that you can apply in your day-to-day life. Today's show is for women, but men, you may want to stay tuned and listen as well. Women, if you've tried a diet and failed to keep the weight off, this episode's for you. If you're at the point in your life where you just want to be healthy and strong and avoid the aches and pains and weight gain, this episode is for you. If you want to look and feel years younger but don't have time to spend hours upon hours in the gym, this episode is for you. My guest today is Batista Gremaud, who is the co-founder of the company Dr FitnessUSA, helping busy women over 40 get 20% stronger in 20 minutes, look and feel 15 years younger, and achieve a pain-free life with the body design formula prescription strength training system created by Dr FitnessUSA. Certified in personal training, Batista's expertise in strength training includes structural realignment of the spine and injury prevention. Batista is a No1 Best Selling author and co-creator of the Feminine Body Design Prescription Strength Training System. She is a featured guest expert and authority speaker on the International Pain Foundation. Batista regularly writes for addiction recovery magazines and online health platforms, and has appeared as a celebrity guest speaker on numerous radio shows. She's a visionary, also certified in hands-on healing, intuitive readings, and energy clearing. Batista's longtime passion is quantum physique and metaphysical science inspires her to help people of all ages to achieve greater integration of body, mind, and spirit through the practice of strengthening the body and the mind with body design formula prescription strength training coaching system. Thank you for being on the show today, Batista.
Thank you, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to this. Now, to help our audience understand your perspective on fitness, can you tell us a little bit about your health and fitness journey and how it shaped your ability to help your clients achieve their health and fitness goals?
Yes, thank you for asking. It's because it's very relevant, and I actually was a performer. I was a dancer, ballet first, and when I was in my mid-20s, I had an injury. I broke my foot, which terminated my ballet career, and then I kind of recycled myself into a flamenco dancer.
Okay.
So that's what I did my whole life. Basically, I started when I was 3, and I kept going until I turned 48, touring the world and, doing everything in the dance community, having companies, teaching, everything that's to be done in the dance world. So that was my life. So I was already very conscious about my health and my body. You have to, when you are a dancer, you have to fit in the costumes, and so you always watch what you eat and what you do. But what happened is after I turned 40, things started to change for me. My body was starting to change, and I think that's a normal thing at that age as the hormones start changing, and whatever I was doing to keep myself fit after I turned 40 just didn't work anymore, and I had a lot of injuries through dancing. The show must go on, so if you have a pain or something happens, you can't just not show up. So, by the time I was 45, I had every injuries in the book. I had shoulder pain, back pain, neck pain, bad knees, Achilles, you name it. Okay. I had it, okay. Right? And not only that, but I started gaining weight. And, so that wasn't very pleasant. I started gaining weight at a astronomical speed. It was frightening. It's like almost, I was putting on almost like a pound per month. So it was horrifying. So I was at a place in my life where I was really going down, and being a performer and a dancer, for me, it was like, what am I going to do? Because if I have so many injuries and I'm gaining weight like this, then I won't be able to dance. And how will I support myself? And, as you read in my bio, I am a long practitioner of meditation and positive thinking. And, I believe in those types of things. So I started putting it out there that I needed a solution, because I knew I had the power to manifest something that would turn my life around. And lo and behold, the next day of making this huge intention, I had a meditation group, and it was like a whole thing. I was going to change my life now, and I was determined. And lo and behold, the next day I met Dr. FitnessUSA, totally by accident, which at this point it wasn't an accident, if you understand what I mean, right? And he started telling me about his system and how he works with women over 40. And the conversation that he gave me was very unusual. He was telling me things about never doing anything that is uncomfortable in terms of exercise and fitness. And I did not understand that at all, because coming from a dance background, we always do everything that's uncomfortable. We always push ourselves. We always do more. We always... so I didn't understand what he meant by that. But the conversation was so different and so unusual. And I had tried everything except that was completely new to me. And it was based on strength training, weightlifting. And, I was so injured that just the thought of carrying something heavy was frightening to me. I didn't know how that would actually help me with my injuries. So I was like, it took me for a total spin. I just did not get it. But I decided, I prayed for this. And sometimes we pray for something and we expect something, but sometimes what comes in our life doesn't look like what we thought it would look like. Yeah. And so I decided to keep an open mind, and I jumped in. So within a couple of months, all my injuries disappeared. Within a couple of weeks, I stopped gaining weight. It was like a miracle. So that was the beginning of this journey for me. I was so fascinated with the process that what I did is I started researching and studying. And, I picked his brain like day in, day out. I wanted to know everything. And that's how I ended up dating him, marrying him. Now we have a family business. Okay. So it was a love story as well, in time. But I understand what women go through at that age. I've gone through it, and I am a product of the product. So I have firsthand experience, and that's how it happened.
So sounds like it was kind of counterintuitive for you, in that as a performer, as a dancer, you're told to do more. A ballet dancer, go up on your toes. That's painful.
Oh yes, very painful.
And do it some more.
Yes.
So that it doesn't feel as bad. But so there's a lot of things of pushing yourself, and then don't feel uncomfortable. Don't put yourself in discomfort.
Exactly. It's a total different philosophy behind exercise.
And so you, not only did you start doing it, then you became kind of entrenched in it and learned it and researched it. And then you started a business together. And now you train people as well as your husband, Stephen.
Yes.
So although you do train men, you specialize in training women, and these are usually women over 40 who usually don't have time, who are starting the hormonal experience, in terms of weight gain and loss of energy. Many of them have, so like you did, some kinds of injury or pain or feeling some level of depression or addiction. So my question is, why do you focus on this group, and why are they so attracted to working with you?
Okay, so I focus on this group because, like I said, I have the first-hand experience, so I can relate. I have the empathy, the sympathy. I relate. It was my journey, so I have an affinity with that age group and the problems associated with it. And so that's the reason why I choose that. Why it works, right? Because I've walked through the journey myself, and I feel very confident that when I work with women at that age group, I'm very confident that I really can make a difference in their lives, because I know the ins and outs of what's going on. So like for men, for example, I can train men too, but men, it's a different story. We're talking about testosterone. We're talking about different issues that I haven't experienced myself. So even though I know intellectually how to work with men, I don't have the practical experience to have gone through that. So, and my husband, Stephen, works very well with men. So we make a good team.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I know that many of your clients have tried programs before and they failed. And I think you've said that your program is often the last house on the block.
Yes.
So how do you help clients overcome this fear and get back on the saddle so that they can start reaching their fitness goals? Because if they don't overcome that, they're going to be caught up in that same cycle that they've been in for years.
Yes, exactly. So it has a lot to do with mindset. Okay, because when you are like in pain, or when you are in pain, you feel like it's the end of the world, and it's very scary. Okay, so the first thing that we have to work with is the mindset. So we can guide the person to look towards what is possible. All right. And for me, it works really well because I walked the journey. So when I talk to somebody, it's and I'm a regular person, I'm not like, I'm not like a supermodel. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like a regular woman, right? And so, I'm not excessively muscular. I'm not like, I'm like just a regular person. So when I talk to a person, the woman can look at me and relate. And it's like, oh, well, if she did it, I can do it. Right?
Okay.
And the misconception that women, and I want to be a little more specific about the misconceptions in the fitness industry, is that there are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of false promises. And there's also a lot of myth that women believe that holds them back. Okay, like for example, you just have to step in a gym and see what women do in a gym. First of all, many women would just be in the gym doing treadmills, being on the treadmills.
Right.
Okay, because they have the idea that if they do a lot of aerobics, then they're going to lose weight, and they're moving and they're going to get the results, the fitness results that they think whatever they think they're going to get. So that's the first misconceptions. Actually, a woman 40 and up really need to focus on doing less aerobic and more strength training. Okay, and there's very specific reasons for that. First of all, when you do aerobics, just for weight loss, because everybody wants to lose weight, even people that are thin.
Right.
It's a thing. I sometimes somebody says, I want to lose weight, and I look at her and I go, why would you want to lose weight? But anyways, so just from a losing weight perspective, when you are on the treadmill or doing any type of aerobic, any type of Zumba or dance or anything like that, you actually burn calories while you're doing the exercise. Okay, so that's great. But that's it. when you do the strength training, you also burn the calories while you're doing strength training, but then you continue to burn calories 72 hours past the time you've done the workout. So from a weight loss perspective, then, strength training, you get more result for the time spent, okay? But there's other reasons. Excessive aerobic activities puts a lot of stress on the body, okay? So it produces inflammation, and inflammation, it produces cortisol, and cortisol is stress. Now, we are already stressed. Most women are already stressed in taking care of family, job, obligations. So it's stress, and whether it's psychological, physical stress, at the end of the day, it produces same result. It produces inflammation, pain, and illness. Okay, so what you want to do when you go into your fitness activity, you want to try to reduce the stress so that you can have a place of comfort to heal the body. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why we teach women never to do anything that is uncomfortable, because if it's uncomfortable, then it's probably in the long run going to be harmful. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that the workouts need to be easy or that they are not challenging. But what we focus on is we focus on maximizing the power of the exercise so that you can be ergonomically supported through a machine or, whatever the program calls for. The angle of a bench, so the body is completely comfortable, so that now you are able to maximize the potency of the exercise, get to your target weight that you need to reach, because this is also a very big misconceptions in women and strength training, is women think that they need to do a very little weight and a lot of high reps.
And why is that not the solution to the answer they're asking?
Yeah, because that is also considered an aerobic type of activity. You see, there's different muscle fibers in the body, right? So when you do aerobic activity, high reps, low weight, running, treadmills, and all this is it's considered an aerobic activity, and it uses certain muscle fibers in the body. Strength training is a different category of its own, uses different muscle fibers. So if the woman wants to rebuild muscle mass, then she needs to do strength training, not aerobic, because you see, we start losing muscle mass as of age 30. So it starts very early on. If the person doesn't do any strength training to maintain or rebuild the muscle mass, by the time the woman is 40 years old, she's lost a lot of muscle. By the time she's 50, it's tremendous. And people don't associate the problems they're having at that age. They don't associate that with the muscle loss syndrome. So all of a sudden, the person has bad posture. They start having loose bone mass. You see, there's a lot of us. They start having bad posture, like I said, which causes more problem, causes stagnation in the body. So then, when you have stagnation, you have illness. Now you have arthritis. Now you have back pain. Now you have all kinds of problems. You see, so that's the misconception. So the woman, as of age 40, needs to do less aerobics and more strength training. And when we talk about strength training, we talk about lifting weight and a certain amount of weight. That's more than what most women do, which is 5-10 pounds.
Okay, let me just, because you put a lot of good information out there, and let me see if I can kind of summarize some of the things that I heard. One is, aerobics aren't necessarily bad because it does keep you moving. It does give you, but it's burning calories and it's not building muscle. And as we age, we tend to lose muscle, so that someone could weigh the exact same amount at 50 that they did 20, but look terrible because they've lost, let's say 20 pounds of muscle, and they maintain, and so that's been replaced by fat because they haven't been building the muscle.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what we call like the skinny fat.
Right, and so and so guys call it skinny fat, just like women, but It is the same thing. Is that if you don't build that muscle, and then if you have more muscle in your body, you will burn more calories just sitting around. And so that's why it will, as you build more and more muscle, you'll burn more and more calories. You become more efficient in terms of how your body functions.
Absolutely, yes.
And then in terms of the mindset of a lot of women is I must use light weights. And this is kind of a myth perpetuated by because you're a woman, you can't lift heavier weights or you don't want to build muscle. So really they have to use a certain amount of weight to get to actually cause the muscles to want to grow. So maybe you could talk a little bit about why that's important to lift heavier weights and what it really takes to cause the response you want in the muscle to get the results you want.
Yes. So so every person has a different target weight. So it's not just about lifting a lot of weight and more weight and more weight. Okay. So, and that's kind of like Dr. FitnessUSA's genius to kind of pinpoint what, depending on the person, he's able to pinpoint, well, this person, because of her weight or her, wherever she's in life, her stress level, then she should get to such and such amount of weight. Okay. So it's not about more weight. It's about the right amount of weight for this particular person. So it's not, you see, there's a sequence. I will. This is another thing that I believe is important to address, because I also see a lot of people in the gyms, and I look at what they do, and there is no logical sequencing on what they do for exercise. People don't realize that in strength training, and this is what I learned through my research in the last 10 years, what people don't realize is that strength training is a specific sport and that it requires a specific, it's a system. Now, in strength training, there's no system out there. But if you compare it to, for example, martial arts, dancing, or any other sport, then you will know that there is a system that is taught. In other words, I was a dancer, so I will relate to as dancing, for example. When you go into a dance class and you first start learning ballet, you know that you need to do this exercise first, then the next one, then the next one, and everything is progressive and it will build upon each other so that at the end you will be a good dancer and you will have more roles. You don't go, or for martial arts, you go into a martial arts class and it's systematic. The teacher, if he's good, is going to take you through the first step, second step, and then you're going to get a white belt and then the yellow belt, green belt, whatever the colors of the belts are. Right? But in strength training, people don't realize that it's similar. So it's kind of a free-for-all. And personal trainers don't learn this in personal training school. I know, because I did become a personal trainer. So there's really, nobody has a system. And so this is what we have that is different from what's out there. Stephen, Dr. FitnessUSA, has put together a system, and he's been working on it for the last 55 years. He's 70 now, and he's been doing this since he was a teenager. So it's got a long track record. And it's specific. You have to start with this exercise, and I will be even more specific about that for you, is when you get into a gym and you want to build strength, it's important to start by building from the ground up. So we, for example, start with a leg press. Okay? Because the leg press, you see the strength starts from the bottom, from the ground, and depending on how, and then it propels you strength to the upper body. So we can gauge, for example, how much weight the person is doing on the leg press. Depending on that number, we can tell how much that person is going to be doing on a chest press, because it's progressive. Okay, so it also has to do with the amount of sets, the amount of reps, so that you can build that strength and get the results that you want. And one of the things that I want to mention, and that happens a lot for women, women on the treadmill, or they like hiking, they're outdoorsy and whatever. And what happens is a lot of times women have very strong legs, look really nice in a mini skirt or whatever, but then when you look at the upper body, it's completely undeveloped. So people are kind of, it's kind of having two bodies in one person. Okay, so the idea is to rebuild the body from the inside out so that the upper body matches the lower body.
And when you're talking about matching the upper body, you're not talking about turning women into bodybuilders and
no. I'm not talking about turning women into bodybuilders. I'm talking about having a symmetrical, balanced physique.
Okay. So
did that answer your question? I know. Yeah, I went off on the.
No, that's great. I was trying to get some of the specifics. So good. You start with the ground up, start with the legs, and from the leg press can be very informative about what to do with the rest of the progression in terms of what you can do, because everything will be somewhat proportional to what your legs can do. So I'm going to drill down a little bit in terms of your workout lasts 20 minutes. How can you get a good workout in 20 minutes?
Okay, so the workouts. Okay, I know you're referring to my tagline, which is we increase women's strength by 20% in 20 minutes. Okay, so the workout is not 20 minutes. The workout usually is based on 40 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. But because it's like a prescription, it's a system, the strength will stay with you. So the workout is not 20 minutes. The strength increase happens in the first 20 minutes, though.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of the misconception. And the strength increase in the first 20 minutes because of what I just explained, because of the progression of the exercise that will, and the way the weight range and the set system and the rep system is put together, that within the first 20 minutes of the workout, the person will immediately be stronger.
When you say stronger, how would you measure that they're stronger?
It's very simple to measure because it's based on strength training. So if the person comes in and they are leg pressing 40 pounds, right?
Okay.
And like even if they've been working out their whole life and they've never reached more than 40, 50 pounds, if in the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes they went from 40 pounds to 120 pounds, well, that would be 70% strength increase. So when I say 20%, I'm very conservative, because we have women that go in and lift literally 20, 30 pounds on the leg press, and within the first session, the first half an hour, the first 20 minutes, they are at 190. So I could even go and say 100% strength increase, but we don't want to. We keep it. We keep it safe and feasible. So 20% is very feasible, and it's very quantifiable because you're working with weight.
Okay. So you can go in and say, here's where I started, and then here's where I end, and I can see that I've actually progressed in that period of time, so that that gives me a kind of a sense of accomplishment in my workouts.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example.
Great.
Okay. We recently worked with a young woman. She's actually 29. We work with younger people too. Okay. But she has 3 kids. She has every autoimmune disorder that you can imagine. She can't get out of bed.
Okay.
So she's in extreme pain all the time. We start working with her, and this is with our online program. So we never even physically went into the gym with her. Okay. We coached her online. She's out of town in Montana somewhere. So we started working with her. We counseled her and suggested which gym she should join, because not every gym is created equal. You know, there are some gyms that look good, but the equipment is really old and really not conducive for a woman's success. The more equipment is more built for like baseball people, you know, like big, tall man, you know. So that's another thing to take into consideration. You want to join a gym where they have some equipment you can use as a woman, you know. But we helped her with that. She went into the gym. The first day she went, and that was online, so we take a little more time, and it was an extreme case because she was in so much pain. So the first day she went in the gym, she leg pressed 5 pounds. Okay, 5 pounds. And I think the chest press, she didn't even manage to do it, for example. Okay, I want to be specific. So we guided her through the process. Within 1 week, she was training with 50 leg pressing 50 pounds and chest pressing 10 pounds. So that's the first week. Okay. We worked with her specifically for 6 weeks, taking her through the whole process in 6 weeks. Now she's leg pressing 190 pounds, and she's chest pressing 25 pounds dumbbells. That was her target weight. Okay. She has no more pain. She's out of bed. She has her life back, and she's back at work doing what she loves to do.
Well, that's impressive. I mean, because not only in the gains that you made, but also in terms of the outcomes. I mean, I work out because I want a different life. Most people do it because they want a different lifestyle or quality of life. Not just my life is not just lifting 25-pound dumbbells. It's what does that allow me to do, which is, like you said, go back and do the things she wants to do.
That's it. And so it's not, you know, and obviously everybody wants to look good, but really we want to have energy. We want to be pain-free. We want to feel good, you know, and especially after 40 and 50, you know, we want to feel 15 years younger. And this is why we do it, you know, and the lifting those particular weight scale will give you those results faster than anything else. That's why we do it.
Okay. And you mentioned that, you know, one of the things you do, you work with people near your area where you can actually walk to the gym with them. And then you also work with people remotely where you're part of your process is to help them select the right gym that has the right equipment so that they can get the benefits they want. And
yes.
One of the key components of what you have is to making sure that the equipment is used properly so that it helps align the posture and you get the full impact of the exercise. Because if you exercise improperly on a machine, you're more apt to hurt yourself than get the results you want.
That's it. You got it. Exactly. So the way we did this, when I started 10 years ago and I met Steven and I had, you know, all my injuries, I got so fascinated. At that time, he only worked with people one-on-one. Okay. So people traveled from everywhere and they came to spend a week in Los Angeles, and then they learned the program and then they went back home and they used the program. So he's been doing this a long time. When I came along, I had a vision that we should be able to offer this to more people. And, you know, with technology and online, all the tools that we have now, I had a vision that we could really expand and offer this to more people, because women need it. So I spent 8 years picking his brain and putting those programs online. So now we have programs online that a person can just buy and follow along to learn the system. And then, of course, we have the do-it-yourself version where they just follow along, or like in the example of this woman that I just told you about, we have also a service where they can have weekly calls, and then we really take them by the hand and we counsel them. We have people in Africa, in Paris, in Belgium. We do Skype. They record themselves how they do the exercise. They send it. So then I can, check their form, because the form is very important, and guide them. And we get amazing results. I love this business model because it puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you the education that you need to sustain result long term. Because the truth of the matter, how do you want to spend the next 30 years of your life? I mean, if you're 50 or 40, 30 years, it's like you're going to be 80, 70, 80, 90. How long are we going to be alive? Are you going to always have a personal trainer to hold your hand and walk? We need to have the education so that we can do it at our own time, at our own place, So I love doing this because it's really providing the education that the person needs to take care of themselves. It's like teaching the person to fish rather than giving them the fish, Okay,
that makes, you're teaching them how to take control of their own body and of their own health and their own fitness.
Yes.
You give, you customize it for them, and you give them the tools so that they can follow the program and then adapt the program as they go through it. And then they have the ability to get ongoing support from you if they want, to make sure that you're making the right adaptation, whether it be, we don't have this piece of equipment, what should my other piece of equipment be? Or I get stuck. What do I do now when I've reached a certain plateau, or there's a certain injury? And so those are kinds of answers that always happen, no matter who's working out. They're going to run into some plateaus and some issues. And the more you know yourself, the easier it is to, self-regulate, solve the problem, but also know what to ask if you do need help.
Exactly. Yes. And there's always a solution. What happens a lot when the person starts is that, the programs are based on strength training, and they're all very balanced. And most people come in with muscular imbalances. We all compensate on one side or the other. If you're right-handed, maybe your right side is stronger. This is part of life. So what happens is when the person goes into the gym and they start doing the program, everything is very balanced. So if, for example, your left side is weaker, now it's going to get stronger. Things are going to balance out. But through the process of that happening, sometimes there is a pain here, a pain there, or you know what I'm saying, because the body is readjusting. So it's very common for the person to panic and say, oh my God, I got hurt, So, but it's not like that, it's just the body adapting.
Okay. So,
and it's nice to have the comfort of somebody that's gone through it. Me, I had so many injuries. Trust me, I know, I was so scared. Oh my God, but, at the end of the day, you keep doing it. One day you wake up and the pain is gone. It's amazing.
Now, Batista, could you give me an example? You say most people have some imbalances. Can you give me an example how you might go about correcting an imbalance?
Yes, absolutely. That's actually kind of easy. Okay, so let's say a person has, let's say the person is right-handed and they have obviously a much stronger right arm than a left arm. Okay, so let's say we're doing an exercise that requires doing 8 repetitions with a certain amount of weight on the right, and then 8 repetitions of the same exercise on the left, right? So you do 8 on the right, 8 on the left. So the right arm is strong, So we always start with a strong arm, with a good one, like the good arm. Well, we don't want to say good and bad because we don't want to put that in the mind that there's a bad side, right? But the stronger side. So we always start with the stronger side because the muscle, has memory and has intelligence. So the side that is weaker always wants to catch up with the side that is stronger. Okay, so we start with the stronger side to kind of set the pace and set the example. So now the person does the 8 repetitions with that arm, and now they go to the weaker side. So they're going to do the same amount of weight, and their goal is going to do the same amount of repetitions. But now what happens is after 4 repetitions, the weaker arm gives out. Can't do anymore, right? Okay. So what we do, we stop. We don't push, we don't force, we don't try to go through the pain, and we don't do any of that. We don't work to failure. We don't do any of that. We stop, we rest, and when that arm is ready to go again, we finish whatever that is. So if we had 8 and we did 4, then we're going to shoot to do 4 more. Now, if after 2, that arm says, no, I can't do anymore, you stop at 2, you wait again, and when you're ready, you finish so that you have the same amount of repetitions with the same amount of weight on both sides. Eventually, that weaker arm is going to catch up to the other arm, and you're going to achieve balance.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, another point you made, and I want to get some clarity here. So you don't push to failure, and you don't want to do something that's uncomfortable. But how do you get the adaptive response in the muscle if you don't push it to a certain point where it has to adapt to another, adapt to the weight or the tension that it's on?
Yes. So just as I mentioned, it's not like we keep it easy and not challenging or any of that. We don't do anything that is uncomfortable. That means that we make sure that all the angles are appropriate so that the body can work biomechanically in the right way. So there's no pinch, no. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we go into a machine and the machine may be not oiled properly, so there's friction and then it's hard, or there might be a pain in the shoulder where we could change the angle of the exercise so we can bypass the pain, because there's always a way to do something where you're not in pain so that you can bypass the pain. What happens is when you do that, you start building the synergetic muscles around the injury to fortify it so that now the injury itself is protected so you don't aggravate it. Okay. So that's what I mean by never doing anything that is uncomfortable. However, it doesn't mean that the person is not encouraged to go past where they think their limit is. So, for example, in the example that I gave you earlier, the woman that is in bed and she cannot get out of bed and she cannot lift anything, right? Her target weight was 25 pounds dumbbells, okay? But she couldn't lift one dumbbell. So by making sure that all the angles and what I just explained was correct, that she was correctly set up, right? We could tell her, okay, so this week you did 10 pounds. Now, this next week you need to go to 15.
Okay.
Oh, I can't. No, yes, you can, because you're safe. We see that you raised your strength with a leg press from 50 to 100. You can do 15. As a matter of fact, you could do 20, but we're going to be conservative. Do 15. Okay, I try. Okay. Oh my God, I did 15. That's great. So you see, so they are encouraged to push the barrier until they reach that weight. Okay. When the person has reached their optimum weight, like for me, it's 35 pounds dumbbells. Okay. I tell you, when I started, I couldn't lift 5 pounds either. I had a frozen shoulder. Okay. For me, my weight is 35 pounds. I'm not interested to go any heavier than that. When the person has reached their maximum weight, where they need to be, because we don't want to get bulky, we don't want to put more weight, then the pace changes. Now we lower the weight, we increase the reps, we change the exercise sequence, we go from a dumbbell to a cable. So there's always ways to keep the muscles to readapt and make progress.
Okay. That's what I assumed. But when I just want to make sure when people, you don't do anything discomfort. So, I train my wife, and there are times when she said, well, I don't want to do that. And I said, you can do this, and if she did what she wanted, she wouldn't get any results. And so you have to say, no, you can do this because you've done it before. And then, okay. And it is, everybody's got a different comfort zone or discomfort zone.
Yes.
What they're comfortable with. But you're saying progressive resistance based on where you are and what you need to do to get your results.
Exactly. Yes, and there's a way of manipulating the repetitions and the sets, if they do a certain weight with 8 reps, and then they would increase the weight but decrease the repetitions. Stephen has that down to a science, and that's one of the magic of the programs, is that because of that, how to manipulate, how to go into the exercise with the weights and the reps. You can do amazing things. I mean, we have women that can't even believe. We worked with a woman, she's 60 years old. She had never worked out at all in her entire life. This is not online. This is somebody that we worked one-on-one with. On her first day in the gym, the first 20 minutes, she leg pressed like 350 pounds.
Wow. Comfortably,
laughing. We just worked with somebody who's 74 years old. She's a cancer survivor. She is just had heart surgery about a few years back. She is under medical supervision, so that's that. But we worked with her also in the gym one-on-one, and within the first couple of days in the gym, she's also leg pressing about 350 pounds, comfortably, smiling. So when you do it right and you do it comfortably, and it gets very empowering. And what happens is it's not only empowering for the body, but what we get as a result is it quiets the mind. So it's a stress management tool like no other. It's even more powerful than meditation, I find sometimes, because, when you meditate, you sit down and you let the thoughts come in and out, you watch your breath, you do this. When you lift the weight, it's you and God. At that moment, you can't be thinking about many other things,
No, you got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yes.
Now, Batista, you covered a lot of ground and been very great with the examples, but what's one thing that we may not have covered that you could share for women over 40 who are considering starting a fitness program?
Okay, so yes, there's one thing we touched very briefly, but we didn't talk about much, is posture. Okay, posture is something that people don't think about. And especially when they go into a fitness program, they don't think about posture. They never give it any thoughts. And I see this in the gyms all the time. People go into machines, exercises, or in the yoga classes I see, or whatever. People tend to work in the postural alignment that they're in. Okay, so, and they make it worse. And this is something that people don't realize. The effect on the health is tremendous. Back problem, sciatica. I mean, there's so many things that breathing, lungs. There's so many things that can be affected by bad posture. So if you are going into an exercise, just first of all, do a little exercise. Just take a picture of your body sideways or front, side, and back, and see where your posture is at. Okay, so because the first thing is awareness. If you don't know, you don't know, and you can't do anything about it. Okay, so first, just look at where your posture is. And then whatever you're doing, just try to work against it. Do something to at least try to improve it, because you can't really think good posture. You know, oh, no, I see good posture. Oh, now I'm standing straight. And then 2 minutes later, you're back, because you need to build the synergetic muscles in the back, in the shoulders, that will hold your posture together. You see, so you can help yourself by first becoming aware of it, and then whatever you're doing, try to work against it so that you start straightening up.
That's great advice, because again, as we get older and we spend more time on a computer sitting, those are bad things for our posture.
Yes.
And they have a lot of compound issues in terms of how they affect the body, from the neck to the back to the knees to the ankles. So that's great advice. Now, Batista, if people want to connect with you, learn more about your programs and what you and Stephen are doing, where should they go?
Okay, so they can visit our website, and that is drfitnessusa.com. Doctor is DR, the short version, drfitnessusa.com. On the homepage, there is a place where you can request a free report. And when you click on the link, it will take you to a page where you have a report for men and a report for women. So if you're a woman, click on the women one, and then you'll receive the free report. And that would put you on our email list, where you get some notices, or, I write a lot of articles. So you'll get notified when there's a new article or things like that. And we are also on the social media. We're everywhere. We have over 300 videos on YouTube. Now maybe a little under 300 videos on YouTube. And that is youtube.com/Dr FitnessUSA. We're also very active on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dr FitnessUSA, and on LinkedIn. Here on LinkedIn, you can also, on LinkedIn, it's Dr. Fitness USA also, but Stephen is under Stephen Hersey, and I'm under my name, Batista Gremaud. But, if you Google Dr. Fitness USA, you can find us everywhere. The first step, though, go to the website and register for, sign up for our free report. That'll be the first step.
Okay. And the free report has got a lot of good information. And the videos on YouTube are very informative. They're giving a lot of insight into their approach as well as their personalities, and I would recommend that you check them out. And so, Batista, thank you so much for sharing your passion and your energy, and I wish you a fabulous day.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure being on your show.
All right, have a great one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, hosted by Phil Ferris. To learn more about the guests or resources on our show today, or to listen to past episodes, go to nevertoolateforfitness.com.